Hello, all. This is David Martin, psychotherapist and LMFT with Illuminated Pathways. It's been a while, but it's good to be back with you all. I wanted to do a final video in my series on betrayal trauma. Uh, and I want to thank you all for the feedback and the likes and subscribes. I appreciate you all. So today's video is entitled Why Narcissists Collapse When Empaths Heal. Okay. So as if you haven't seen any of my other videos in regards to this series, I want to invite you back to go look at those videos um, and check those out because they're you don't necessarily have to watch them all in a sequence, but there's other videos out here too that are beneficial in regards to betrayal trauma as well. So there's a strange moment that happens in betrayal trauma. It's quiet, it's subtle, and most people miss it. It's the moment the empath finally starts to heal and the narcissist begins to collapse. Most people assume narcissists fall apart when they're exposed. They don't. Most people think they crumble when they lose an argument. They don't. The truth is simpler and more powerful. Narcissists collapse when empaths heal, not because the empath attacks, but because they get not because they get revenge, but because healing removes the fuel their entire system runs on. Let me repeat that. For the narcissist, um, let me reword that. For the narcissist requires source, energy, right? So the healing from an empath, it wrecks the entire system for the narcissist when the empath heals. Today, I want to talk about why that happens, what narcissists do when they collapse, and what that looks like, and why, when the empath gets healthier, the whole dysfunctional world around them starts to shake. Now, let me throw a little caveat into this. Many narcissists, once they get out of one relationship, or if they're getting out of a relationship, they find source from another person, a fresh source, right? Because narcissists will drain the energy from the empath, right? It's almost like an energy vampire, right? They suck all the energy out of that person, utilize their resources and their energy, and then discard them, right? So oftentimes they find a new source, right? Because they can't be without source, right? So let's look at part one. So at the heart of betrayal trauma are two completely different emotional systems. The empath survives by learning to regulate themselves internally because when they're in that narcissistic relationship, they're dysregulated, right? The narcissist requires the empath to regulate their emotions for them. The empath is always the problem in the eyes of the narcissist, right? The narcissist oftentimes they rely on that source, right? Um, and they have other multiple sources as a result also. The empath learns to reflect, repair, and understand, take responsibility, and grow. Empaths heal by building something inside themselves. Narcissistic systems are the opposite. They regulate on the external, right? So a narcissist needs validation, they need control, they need reaction, they need attention, and someone to carry the emotional weight. So they need validation. They need someone to make them feel good. They need someone to um, tell them how great they are, right? And to tell them they're right, right? Control, right? They need control of situations total control situations. They need the reactivity, right? They need you to get angry. That's why we see gaslighting, right? Um, they want a reaction. That's the energy they feed off of. They also feed off attention, right? The flying monkeys, right? The people around them that they're able to manipulate. And and again, the final piece, someone to carry the emotional weight for them, right? To regulate their emotions because they're unable to regulate their emotions themselves. Empaths heal by becoming internally stable. Narcissists survive by keeping others unstable, right? That is why your healing feels so threatening to them. Part two, what narcissistic collapse really means. So, collapse is not a sudden insight, it's not remorse, it's not accountability. Collapse is the loss of control over you, the empath. It can look like rage outbursts, smear campaigns, desperation, sudden love bombing, playing the victim. Oh, they can play the victim very well. And recruiting allies. Like I said, the flying monkeys, the people around you that you may share together, right? But the flying monkeys, most of the time, only hear one side of the story, right? They never bother to ask the empath what their side of the story was, right? The flying monkeys are the flying monkeys. They believe whatever they want. They're the minions. They're suckers, right? They fall right into the trap. They are trying to restore a system that your healing is dismantling. Let me repeat that. The narcissist is trying to restore a system that your healing is dismantling. So when the empath heals, the narcissist loses direct influence. So they move from controlling you to controlling the narrative about you, the smear campaign. The flying monkeys can be family members, they can be friends, and especially coworkers, right? You would never think that, right? Coworkers and then new partners, cheating relationships. Again, what I said earlier, replacement sources, right? Most are manipulated rather than malicious, right? So the flying monkeys don't necessarily have to be malicious. They're just manipulated by the narcissist. The moment you stop carrying the dysfunction, you get blamed for it. So this is how the story flips. Before healing, you were loyal, understanding, and strong. After healing, you became difficult, unreasonable, too sensitive. You've changed. What happened to you, right? Nothing about your character changed. You simply stopped accepting mistreatment. Why healing takes away power. When an empath heals, they become less reactive, more grounded, more boundaried. They may even go no contact, right? Cut the person off. That's not revenge. That is just self-care, right? That's not malicious. That's just self-care. Those qualities remove drama, leverage, and manipulation. Your calm becomes their crisis. Smear campaigns increase, and possibly old conflicts return. Pressure to return to old roles and attempts to provoke reactions. Let me talk about caution, because sometimes that narcissistic collapse can escalate. If you experience harassment, stalking, legal threats, healing must include strong boundaries and support. Empaths believe in growth. Narcissistic symptoms believe in control. Their collapse is not proof of you are doing something wrong. It is often proof you are finally doing something right. Empaths do not win by fighting, they win by healing. So if you like this video, please leave comments in the comment section below. You could check out my other videos about healing from betrayal trauma, but I wanted to do this video, like I said, to talk about the collapse of the narcissist and why that's so profound and why that's different than what a lot of people think, right? So if you do like this video, please check out my other ones. Please like, subscribe, and share this with someone who may benefit. You can also see my contact information below. You can go to my website, see the kind of work I do. I work with couples, families, individuals, right? I also do group work and consulting and all those other areas. So please check my information out and please stay tuned for future videos. Um, I am going to be focusing back in on some videos around parenting again, since I'm getting ready to launch a new series, consulting series on effective parenting, um, the effective parent blueprint. And so tune into that because that's something new and exciting that's coming up in the near future. So anyway, I hope you all have a great day and I will see you all on the next video.